Our resource speaker today is president of his own dairy farm. He is a member of the advisory group of the Philippine Carbo Center founder Talavera Cooperative. Igawad Saka National Awards, the highest award in Philippine agriculture for outstanding entrepreneur given by Rodrigo Duterte. He's an investment banker. He is the most outstanding entrepreneur, Huwarang Filipino Hall of Famer, Dakilang Lakan, and he authored a book called Dare to Dream, a Filipino entrepreneur's tale of success in dairy farming. He's also a customer of the Sangrado Soberana and the Tarlac of Molasses. And I'd like you to meet Danny Fausto. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you very much. I might be blocking so permit me, I'll just stop from here. They just ask questions. Normally I go around and here. But it's just an honor being introduced by my boss. She doesn't know it, but I was campaigning during my term. You know, Chico Borromeo and June Simon has been bugging me, thinking. So I provided my vehicle. She doesn't know it. Doesn't know. And I'd like to acknowledge also, he doesn't know also, that he's my compadre, si Jing. Because we were godfather to the daughter of Ricky Tamparo. You were a dad. And I'd like to acknowledge the two board members of the Philippine Chamber of Agriculture, our Vice Chairman, Toto Barcelona, who is in vegetable harvest agribusiness, and Bombit Camino, who is in meat and fish, even in housing, you know. We miss Steve, is that the name? Stewart, sorry about that. We missed you last Saturday. And I met David. I was convener of the Water Sustainability Advocacy, being spearheaded by Ernie Ordonez. Anyway, thank you very much, Chairman Mon. I think this is the third time I'll be here. The last time was more than 5 years ago. I've been talking the same thing. Dairy, that was requested to do this. Although I represent now the Chamber of Agriculture and Food. We have 48 industries under the Chamber: coffee, cacao, moringa, so anyway, given this assignment, I like to proceed and can just, after this, I'll be honored to, glad to answer various questions from the farmer and who likes to go to dairy. It's a century business. Holland took them 800 years to do this. New Zealand and Australia 350 years, with the US. So in the Philippines, we're going. I've been in here for 30 years. It started as a hobby, and I was doing some things with Ricky and Boy Kala together. And as a financial advisor, as an investment banker, I do municipal bonds issues and I've done a lot with Land Bank, and you were president. So you were my trustee. You're my trustee. So you're my boss. The situation right now, before about a decade ago, we are only producing less than 1% of the milk that we need. Now we are at 4.2%. That's what. But still, we have very few number of animals. We've imported so much, about 52 billion pesos worth of milk, about $1 billion, and that's the business that we are in. So for us, local producers, if you may, we have no reason to quarrel because we have 96% there in the opportunity to get this Nestle, Alpina, Alaska, Nolia, who are importing powder and then reconstitute it and pass it as fresh milk. So I'm not dealing with it legally yet, but because I don't like to rock the boat. Because I don't know why we'll have to put something in my head and quarrel with the multinational. Anyway, also, we are importing mostly from New Zealand and the United States, Malaysia, and Australia. Cow's milk represents 62% of our market, 35% from Carabao's milk, and about 3% from goat's milk. Which is interesting because goats, it birth offspring twice a year. And goat's milk is the only clinically acceptable replacement of mother's milk. Because it's in between. The cow's milk has about 3.5% fat. The buffalo's milk is about 8 or 9% fat. It's creamy, 2-3 times creamier than cow. But the goat's milk is what you call the half and half. It's about 5%, which is more or less equivalent, the same nutritional content of a mother's milk. So mothers are usually, some of them are, their child is not or allergic to mother's milk. They give cow's milk. And the cow's milk are mostly imported. Goat's milk. Goat's milk. So I got the 5,000. Before it's 4,200 for the DAR beneficiaries. I look at the PSA, People's Statistics data. The first decile income profile, we have a 5,083 average income of the first decile, which is these are the agrarian reform beneficiaries. We have 2.3 million, not 3 million now, and it's about $100 a month. That's their income, feeding a family of 5. So they survive on this crop. On the back of their houses, they have some chicken, and it's great. They get some tilapia or fish, gurami, what. This is their mode of transport, kuliglig, you know. And they have some pigs at the back of their houses. So that's how they survive. They get some vegetables at the back of their houses. That's how they eat. So this is the status of the first decile family income, where most of them are in the countryside. This is the same age. This is the buffalo, and this is a native Carabao. This one produces something like half a liter a day, but the buffalo can produce up to 14 liters a day. We average about 7 or 8 in our. But if we do milk them morning and afternoon, then we can have about 12 to 14 liters. But the problem is we are short of the forage. I'd like to calibrate it properly so I will not be stressing the animal. This could be the same. So this is the production. It grows faster, half the size. It has the same age. I said, same age, same animal. This buffalo. These are from the Mura. The first, we have imported it in India before, during the time of Vice President Lopez, and then it landed in General Pino, and then when the Philippine Cargo Center was established, they imported from Bulgaria. Bulgaria stock came from India, the Mura. Now Bulgaria, we have more. The Philippines now have more buffaloes than Bulgaria, so we start importing from Brazil. And when we said we, it's the government importing from Brazil. But there was a question because these are FMD-free with vaccination. We are FMD-free since 2010. That was chairman of Dairy Confederation. We worked with the OIE to get that certification that we are FMD-free. So we cannot import animals from Thailand, from any Laos or what, So we have to choose a country where we can import even cattle, which is FMD free. Bulgaria is FMD free but with vaccination. So when it came in, there's a trace of because they use the vaccine to fight the FMD. So there's a big issue there. They want to slaughter that 3,000 heads that was imported in Brazil during the time of Alcala. Anyway, we then imported from Italy. Now we're trying to import, don't know where. It's the majority of the buffalo are in Nueva Ecija, but starting to spread out some other provinces, Tarlac, Pampanga, Bulacan, because some of them try to buy the farmers under the cover of darkness. So when I started this is the profile. In 2011, I had my partner farmers. I got a survey one by one. You see that 90% of our farmers did not have a college degree, and about 50% did not finish high school. They're just elementary. In some areas, they don't even know how a check look like. Most of my partners, they don't like to have ID, so they cannot go to the bank and they cash a check. Because the majority, if this will be of the record, 95% of my suppliers are formerly combatants and supporters of our friends in the mountains. And they don't like to have IDs. They like to don't like to be faced. That's why they're objecting to the national ID system. Perhaps, I don't know. That's their business. And 4,000 to 7,500. This is below even the subsistence level, meaning they cannot eat 3 times a day without its income. 63%, or about 70% in the countryside are really that poor, very poor. And they have an average for DAR, we have 1.7 hectares average ownership given by Jing to the distribute a lot of land. Now they're selling it. Everybody is selling the land. The one that you have given, converting it to housing. You know who's the head of housing, and also the head of the committee on agriculture. The richest man. He practically owns now. And the national highway passes to that land become 10, 20 times more expensive now. So the farmers, after 10 years, because the agrarian reform land given by King, after 10 years they can sell it. As long as you pay the land tax, it's very, very amount, very good. So a lot of money there for housing. And reducing the agricultural land. Ayun na. Fake news. Hey, any batteries? Can I just, yeah. Okay. Based on the, it's not working. Based on the PSA statistics, as I said, this is the first decile of income profile in the countryside. 7,337, if you have this much and above, you eat 3 times a day. But if you include non-food items like education, health, and shelter, you need to have 10,481. This is 2015 data, Philippine Statistics Authority. Now, if you have 1 buffalo or 1 cow, you get about 9,000 a month from the milk. And that will bring you up from 5,000, bring you up to 14,000. So if every person in the countryside will have carabao or cow, milking cow, then you're out of the subsidy. This is the poverty threshold. This is the poverty threshold. If you're receiving less than this, then you are poor. And this, you can eat 3 times a day. But if you need this for non-food items, as I said, education, health, and this is 2015 Philippine Statistics Authority data. I just did it last night, so I do research. Yeah. Benefit of smallholder farmers. One thing that for every 20 liters per day, you have one job. That's from FAO. And what is very telling is the prevention from malaria. Now we have eradicated some of the areas in malaria. Before, 75% of the area in the Philippines is malaria. Now it's concentrated in Palawan. Why do we have malaria as the carnival, as the protection from malaria? If you have I went to the UP Public Health Dean, and she said that if you are doing research work, I'll borrow a buffalo, a caravan, put it there, and in 3 hours, they get thousands of malaria mosquito at the back of the caravan. So the mosquito can smell the breath of the buffalo 1 kilometer away. If you have buffalo outside your house, leave a house or in the countryside, then the mosquito attacks the buffalo. And when your food flies away, it will not go inside the house. So it's the buffalo, I don't know with the cow, not much of cow, but the buffalo is they like to attack the buffalo. But when they attack the buffalo, because of the thick skin, it destroys the beak of the mosquito. It dies. The mosquito dies. Suicidal, you know. But they don't know that. That's not what they know. But this is not in the books. This is from the UP Public Health School in PGH. So, if you want to protect yourself against dengue, you bring in Makati a buffalo at the back of your house in Makati. And get your milk. in Forbes part of Tasmarinas, I can get the milk there. Anyway, 31% of Filipino children are underweight, 95 child death every day. That's the statistics given last night. And so I indulged as a first, about 30 years ago, the cooperative, when we need a business, so we indulged into milk feeding. I introduced the milk feeding. I started it with Rotary. I was a governor of Rotary. I started the 100 children, one grade school, grade 1, and it was successful, 99% success. So we gave them 120 days. When it was successful, I requested the National Daily Authority to partner. I provide 100, he provide 100. So when I did that, they made the study, and it became a national school children milk feeding program, executive order of then Troy. But now the feeding program in the DepEd is different. Wala kasing kita rin. So there's no money here in getting milk from the farm. Anyway, this was before. This one of our beneficiary. 2 months after, this one si Angela. We had that, I was able to convince Tommy Homo, he was the governor. 20,000 children we fed all over the Basiha. That's why he's not losing election, because the mother is the one giving even in Quezon City now, most of the winners, they feed using milk. And our cooperative provides the milk. I'd like to emphasize that it is not my milk. My milk is the milk of the farmer. Every drop of milk you buy is not my milk, it's the farmer's milk. So you give livelihood to the farmer, because I'm just the vehicle to bring that milk to the market. I process it, but I buy all the milk. We have now, we started with about 15 families in Nueva Ecija. So this is what I'm saying. I cannot understand why it's called fresh milk. It's powdered milk, reconstituted, and then passed on as this one. I don't know what's fresh there. it's been there for a year, it's called fresh. When you have a guava in 2 days already. And this is the comparison of cow and carabao. If you look at the vitamin C, look at the cholesterol. Cow's milk is 360% less, buffalo's milk. Buffalo's milk has 360% less in cholesterol than cow. And in terms of protein, we are 1.5 times. Lactose, calcium, almost double. And so on and so forth. The comparison. Now we're selling at the same price, cow. Especially our yogurt, we're selling cheaper than the cow's milk. We had our yogurt tested at the UP. I have a certificate. And the thing with yogurt, you have to have a live probiotic. You drink antibiotic to kill the germ, bacteria. But the probiotic, you drink the probiotic, even before you get sick, you kill the bacteria. So I had gotten all the, I will not mention the name of the brand, but the most is, one is the most is Yakult. This is 2 million. Before you can say you have a live probiotic, you got to have 5 million live probiotic. Ours is 20 million, our yogurt. The major multinationals, the most is 200,000 live probiotic. Ours is 20 million. Another, which is very popular also, has 0 probiotic, live probiotic.
What is that?
So I'm not trying to, but I have a certificate from UP. Yearly I have our yogurt tested from Buffalo. This is this is Talavera. We are now doing 18 areas. 3 cities, San Jose, Cabanatuan, and Palayan. And all the rest are municipalities. We are now 18 municipalities. Now we are benefiting more than 3,000 families. We started with 15. And it's land bank who's helping us. Thank you. Not because you're compadre. You don't know me. Until now, you don't know me, but we've been working closely with land bank. So we started, this was 1994. I was established that cooperative 1992. But we are informally organized 6 years ahead of the creation of the Philippine Carabao Center. I was a laughing stock then because nobody knew that buffalo can be milked. So I milk it so that I can give money to the caretaker because the caretaker has been asking money every now and then. So why don't we milk the buffalo so that they have money so that they'll be asking for me? I started it because my parents from the Basia, Talavera, I visited my parents every weekend, bringing my children, but had nothing to do. I stayed overnight, and my dad just spoke on me, gave me lectures. So I started buying 10 buffaloes, and I started with the plant with 5,000 pesos. That's the start, 5,000. Sorry about that. So this is we are now about more than 100 members in Talavera Dairy Cooperative, which I organized. So these are the people behind. So these are the partners. I provided buffalo. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, just let me. Very sorry for the interruption. We have buffaloes given to farmers. Right now, before I was giving it, that we are sharing on the proceeds. The offspring and the milk we share because they will not fit on my farm. So I have to farm it out, outsource it. The problem is, most of them, they become so impatient. If you are not monitoring it, they will sell your buffalo. They will sell your buffalo. But the mistake of the government is to give the buffalo to the first decile. These people do not have land, which they need support. No? They have land, but they do not have money to upkeep the buffalo. So they leave the buffalo at their houses, go out and look for money to feed their family. In the process, the buffalo is stunted. Then you have to. Most of them died because nobody's taking care of the buffalo. So I guess they have to have a paradigm shift, giving it to the third or fourth decile, and don't give it to the farmers one or two, because they do not have money to upkeep. They need to upkeep. You have to need nutrition for the buffalo. If you do not have nutrition, you do not have milk. You do not have offspring. So the farmers, now we are outsourcing it. This guy, he makes about 40,000 a month from these two buffalo. This was his house before. Now this was an old picture. It's now a beautiful house. But this is the house before he was standing, and because of the two buffaloes he has, it's now this was formerly supported, so I was able to convince her. This is the barangay of former Secretary Mariano. I get built from Nueva Quezon, San Andres Quezon, municipality of Quezon. Where is here? So we have this system. We have partners, and then we have a dairy farm system. We have co-ops, breeders. We have 12 co-ops now, and breeders, smallholder farmers. Then we get the milk. We deliver to our plant in Livelihood at Talavera. Then we go to the market. We have more than 200 malls. You can go in any. You can go here at Rockwell Bustanis. You can get the product. Thank you for patronizing our product. You can call. I have a calling card at the back. You can go and deliver it to your house so that you don't be going out. Yes, Quezon Tupi, you have Buffalo Mozzarella. We have 85 lines now. We have gelato from Buffalo. And yogurts, Greek yogurts, and so on.